Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Sorry about any technical difficulties, but we're back at it. Tonight, the Knicks take on the Washington Wizards in Washington, D.C. for the first preseason game. So there's a lot to talk about. We're going to unpack it today as we jump into this preseason game preview, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's go ahead and get this thing bouncing. Let's rock. That's the game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. If you follow me on Sportscaster, follow me. Or if you're watching on Sportscaster, follow me. If you're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, make sure that you follow me, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, tonight, the Knicks take on the Washington Wizards at 7 p.m. You can watch the game on MSG. If you live in D.C., you can watch the game on NBC, Washington. Let's begin with talking about the starters. Coach David Fizdale announced the starters for this game. Elfrid Payton, R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. And then, of course, I know you heard about the injury report, but we're going to get to that. First, let's talk about the starters for the Washington Wizards as well. Or I'll just list them. You got Ish Smith starting in the place of Isaiah Thomas and John Wall, I guess. Both those guys are out. You got Bradley Beal starting at shooting guard. You know how I feel about Bradley Beal. You got Davis Bertans at small forward. Rui Hachimura at power forward. Then you got Thomas Bryant at center. Got two young centers matching off in Mitchell Robinson and Thomas Bryant. All right, so that should be a fun matchup to watch. But let's look at these matchups a little bit. Elfrid Payton, Ish Smith. Listen, Elfrid Payton, I'm sure he's guarded Ish Smith before, but he's going to have to be on his grind. Ish Smith is a small, shifty guard. Can get inside the lane really well. Right, so I'll be looking to see how Elfrid Payton defends Ish Smith and maybe even Frank Ntilikina. R.J. Barrett's going to be matching up against Bradley Beal. That's in your first pro game, you're going against Bradley Beal. Now, I know it's preseason, but still. Marcus Morris faces off against Davis Bertans. I think Marcus Morris will definitely win that matchup. Julius Randle versus Rui Hachimura. Now, Hachimura is a rookie. He's got to face off against Julius Randle. He should be excited about that. I'm looking for Julius Randle to show some dominance. And then Mitchell Robinson and Thomas Bryant, as I said earlier, a good matchup of two young centers. Now let's look at the injury report for the Knicks, especially for the Knicks. Dennis Smith Jr., he's out this game with a lower strain back. He did not participate in the open practice because of the same lower back strain. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it does concern me. And I know some people are like, Sim, don't put that out in the air. Don't worry about it. It's just precautionary. But it still concerns me because, he's had back issues in the past. Now, I don't want to continuously deal with back issues. Hopefully it's like I said, precautionary. Everything is fine. They just don't want to risk it. But you would think that if he can go, they'd want him to be able to play in his preseason game. Especially when we look at, that there's this point guard battle going on. I know if I'm Dennis Smith Jr., I want to be there because Elfrid Payton, then Frank Ntilikina, they want that spot too. But hey, you know what? I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just stating the facts. That's all I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just stating the facts. I would love for Dennis Smith Jr. to be out there. He's not out there. So, we'll take it from there. Frank Ntilikina, Elfrid Payton, they're going to man that point guard spot. And, we'll see how it looks from there. Hopefully, Dennis Smith Jr. will be back in time for game 2. Reggie Bullock is out with a neck, right? And we know Reggie Bullock, he'll be reevaluated in November. And if he does come back, it likely wouldn't be until December, January sometime. Damian Dotson is out with a right shoulder. He'll be out for the entire preseason. Hopefully he'll be ready for the beginning of the season. Kadeem Allen is out with a right strained foot. And Amir Hinton is out for personal reasons. For the Washington Wizards, Isaac Bonga, he's got left knee soreness. John Wall, he's rehabbing a left Achilles. Troy Brown, he's got a left calf strain. Ian Mahinmi, he's got a right Achilles strain. Isaiah Thomas and CJ Miles are both nursing thumb injuries. So those players will not be suited up for the Washington Wizards tonight. All right. Now, let's get into some storylines for the game because there's plenty. All right. Plenty of storylines and plenty of things that we should be watching during this game. All right. So let's start off. Number one, the battle for minutes begin. Right? This is when it starts. This is where it starts. Everything that we've been hearing throughout training camp is that no one's going to just receive minutes because of who they are and what their name is. Now, someone like Julius Randle, he's playing that power forward spot. Forget about it. That's it. That's what it is. But as far as these young guys, Kevin Knox, R.J. Barrett, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, they're just not going to get minutes just because. There's competition here now. So the battle begins now. Right? And I expect to see these guys come out and play hard, play with aggression, play like they know and understand that the battle begins now. And I think we will see that tonight. Right, so the battle for minutes begins tonight, and we'll be watching it closely and intently. That's going to be a storyline throughout preseason, throughout camp. Player rotations. Now, by no means do I expect Fizdale to have his rotations down packed. Obviously not. This is exactly what preseason is for, right? So that you can begin to look at your lineups and you can begin to see your rotations start to come to fruition. I'm sure he has an idea of how he wants to use players. I'm sure he has an idea of who's going to play when and where and those type of things. We heard how he wants to use Julius Randle. You know, and I'm pretty sure if he knows how he wants to use them, he knows who he wants to put Julius Randle with on the floor to make those things work. And we'll talk about, when we get to the offensive stuff, we'll talk about some of the things that he said about Julius Randle and the rest of the team. But I'll be looking to see how those player rotations work. You know, it ties right into the minutes of the team, you know, the minutes that players are getting. And to be honest with you, man, I mean, you know, a lot of times in preseason, there's players on the bench that you don't want to see. You don't care about them. Man, I want to see everybody. I'm excited for everybody. So that's why I'm super excited to be at this game tonight. I will be there, by the way. And I will be broadcasting live from the game. So I'll catch you then tonight. All right, next up. The development of a defensive culture. That's key to me. That is key. We've been hearing all training camp about the defense. We've got to start with defense. We want defense. We've been hearing it throughout training camp. So, I'm expecting to see it as we hit the floor tonight. I want to see, number one, guys playing hard defense from the tip. I want to see good, strong closeouts. I want to hear talking on defense. Right? I want to see these guys getting back in transition. Transition defense was terrible last season. I want to see good transition defense. Right? I want to see guys boxing out and finishing the defense with a rebound. Because I don't care at what level you play, you've got to finish the defense with a rebound. Right? So that's one of the reasons, you brought in guys like Bobby Portis because he's a good defensive rebounder. Julius Randle is a good defensive rebounder. We expect Mitch to be a good defensive rebounder. Elfrid Payton is a good rebounder from the guard position. So we have guys that can finish with a rebound, finish the defense with a rebound. I expect to see it. Because look, and I've explained this time and time again, plenty of times I've explained this to you guys. You can play the greatest defense in the world. The greatest defense in the world you can play. But if you don't get the defensive rebound, your opponent gets the offensive rebound and puts it back. They shot 50% from the field on that possession. So you got to finish the defense with the rebound, and then let's get out and go. Let's get out and run. Right? So I'm looking for the Knicks to develop a defensive culture. And it starts tonight. It's got to start tonight. Next, the beginnings of an offensive system. Now, we talked about this before. There is no way that Coach Fizdale is going to have his entire system in place. It's just not going to be. It's not going to happen. His system's not going to be in place. But we can see sprinkles of it here and there. Right? We can see different actions. This is what I'll be looking for. Right? Because he said these are the type of things he wants to do. Fizdale said he wants to do cross screens, screening off the ball, pin downs. You don't need to have a complicated and complex system in order to see those actions take place on the floor. Those are very simple things that are effective. So I want to see some of it tonight. Right? I want to see guys curling off screens, catching and shooting. I want to see that from Alonzo Trier. Catching and shooting. We've seen it some during open practice. I want to see it now in the game. Because that's the next evolution of his game. I want to see him be able to knock down the open spot up shot without having to take a rhythm dribble. That's the next evolution of his game. And I think he can do it. I want to see Mitch Robinson set good, strong screens on the ball because we're definitely going to see pick and roll. I want to see him set good, strong screens because sometimes his screens to me are a little bit weak. And then flying to the basket with the floor spread with guys like Wayne Ellington, Alonzo Trier, Kevin Knox, Marcus Morris, Bobby Portis, spreading that floor out so that we can see Mitchell Robinson flying to the cup. So the beginnings of an offensive system, that's what I'm looking for. Not a full-out offensive system. I know it's not going to look highly structured tonight. We may see some stuff that does look structured, but it's not going to look highly structured. And that's okay as long as we can see it coming. We can see what the idea is. We can see what the notions are. We can see the game plan. We can see how he plans on using different players. That's a key right there. Can we see it? And then we can watch it develop as the season goes on. Right? So when I look at the things that I just mentioned between the development of a defensive culture and the beginnings of an offensive system, it all comes down to habits. Spoke about it earlier, a couple of streams ago. Right now, they're developing habits. That's what training camp and preseason is all about. They're developing habits that they're going to take with them throughout the season. And when we get into the dog days of January and February, and they're tired and you know the season starts to drag on a little bit, those habits come out. And then if they start to get into a dog fight in a playoff race, those habits are there. Those good championship type habits are there. You know what I'm saying? And the habits of your defensive culture, your defensive system, your offensive system, they're in place. Because when the pressure picks up, you rely on your habits to take over. Right? Your second nature takes over when that pressure picks up. So that's what we're looking now. We're looking to see them develop those good habits within their defensive and offensive systems. Now, I'm also looking at player development. I want to see I touched on Alonzo Trier a little bit, Mitchell Robinson. I want to see Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina. I want to see how these guys developed. Right? We've seen it in from Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson. We've seen it a little bit in Summer League. We got to see some things in Open Gym. Now they're playing against NBA competition. So I want to see these guys develop, or how they developed, right? And see it portrayed on the floor against good NBA competition. That's what I'm looking to see from these guys right now. I want to see, will Kevin Knox play without fading out the game? If he's in for that long, obviously, this is preseason, so, minutes are going to be all over the place a little bit, right? I think Kevin Knox is going to shoot about 37% from three. Let's look for it. Kevin Knox got a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Can he use it when he goes to the basket? Can he use his size and strength? Can he extend to the basket so that he can finish? Can Mitchell Robinson stay on his feet when he's switched off on a guard on the perimeter? Right? Can he stay on his feet when he's just guarding? I mean, we've seen him block Bobby Portis with a nice block during the Open Gym, but can he stay on his feet? There's not going to be a lot of game planning and strategizing on the behalf of the Washington Wizards. But can Mitchell Robinson stay on his feet, not pick up early fouls, cheap fouls? Right? Those are things that I'm looking for. And then, of course, we have the professional debut of R.J. Barrett. Now we get a chance to see. And it's just going to be a glimpse. And if he has a bad game, let's not go crazy. If he has a great game, let's not freak out and think he's going to be, the number one player in the world by the time he retires. Let's take it for what it is and keep a level-headed mind. But we get to see R.J. Barrett debut, and he's debuting against Bradley Beal. So that's a nice guy to debut against. You're putting yourself to the test right from the beginning. All right? It's not just the debut of R.J. Barrett, Iggy. It's the debut of Ignaz Brazdeikis. He's also debuting. We'll get a chance to see, will he have a chance to crack the rotation from what he does on the floor? We don't know. Right? That's up in the air with Iggy because of, he's drafted in the second round. There's some questions about, him playing defense on the NBA level. So we'll get a chance to see those two guys debut today. So again, man, just to run it back, storylines to watch. The battle for minutes will begin. Player rotations, the development of a defensive culture, the beginnings of an offensive system, player development, the pro debut of R.J. Barrett, and let's add in there Ignaz Brazdeikis. And also, I want to see, David Fizdale said that he had a clear plan on how he wanted to use Julius Randle. So you know what? I want to see him use Julius Randle. I want to see him use those pin down screens to get Julius Randle in isolation. I want to see if he's going to allow Julius Randle to play some point forward. He said that he'd like to play Julius Randle at point forward. I want to see if he does that. All right, I want to see, does he really use some cross screens to get Julius Randle free? Does he use Julius Randle as the ball handler in the pick and roll? So there's a lot of things that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing tonight, and I'm sure you're going to look forward to see some of the same things. All right, there's, the Knicks will have a chance to debut, should I say, a new identity from what we've had in the past, and definitely from what we've had last season. The Knicks were horrible last season. Horrible last season. So this is the chance for these guys to debut it and show everyone from the beginning that this is going to be a different team. It's going to be a different team. They're not laying down to anybody, because we've seen that sometimes last year where it looked like maybe they weren't really playing hard. They played hard most of the time, but there were times where it looked like they weren't playing hard. With guys like Marcus Morris, Bobby Portis, I don't think that's going to be an issue. This is the chance for them to show it. My prediction for the game, I don't really have a prediction for the game. I do hope that the game is tight. I do hope that the game comes down to, a close game in the fourth quarter. One of the things that I'd like to see if the game does come down to the fourth quarter, I'd like to see David Fizdale practice using that the new rule, the new challenge rule. Practice it. See how it works. See how you feel. Are you comfortable with it? So if it comes down to that, practice, man. Can't hurt. Can't hurt whatsoever. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. Put it in the chat. Make sure you leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think about the game tonight and what you'd like to see. What's on your mind? Right, I'm looking in the video chat now. I do see one thing. It's me says Barrett will perform with a pass first point guard. You know what? I agree with you. It's me. It is nice to have. It is nice to have Elfrid Payton out there right now, with R.J. Barrett, a guy that's going to give up the rock to him. And we'll see how this works for the season. I kind of have in my rotation, in my starting lineup, I have Elfrid Payton. Now, I think if Dennis Smith Jr. hadn't gotten hurt, I think that Dennis Smith Jr. would have been the starter because David Fizdale wants to give him that chance to stake himself as a player in the league. But I think Elfrid Payton, in my lineup, Elfrid Payton would be the starter. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that works moving forward now that Dennis Smith Jr. is injured and Elfrid Payton is getting the starting spot at the beginning of training preseason. But yes, it is nice for R.J. Barrett to be out there with a pass first point guard. We'll be able to see some chemistry between Julius Randle and Elfrid Payton, which should be a good thing. And I'd like to see the way that Elfrid Payton and Mitchell Robinson work together. Right? And I'm also interested to see how this second lineup is going to look for the Knicks. Right? Frank Ntilikina, Alonzo Trier, Kevin Knox, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson. I'm assuming that's probably the second lineup. So we'll see how that looks for the Knicks as well. We'll see how that looks for the Knicks as well. But ladies and gentlemen, please, again, leave any comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think. As we move into, we're not moving into preseason. We're in the preseason now. All right, so I'd love to hear what you think about the game. And one more time before I get out of here, folks, I'm just going to very quickly go over the starting lineup and all that stuff once again. All right, I'll quickly go over that, and then I'll head up out of here. All right, so if you're just logging in, you're just tuning in, maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't heard. But tonight's starting lineup looks something like this. Elfrid Payton, he'll be going up against Ish Smith. R.J. Barrett is going up against Bradley Beal. Marcus Morris is going up against Davis Bertans. Julius Randle against Rui Hachimura. And let me run that back. Well, you can see it on the screen, but Elfrid Payton and Ish Smith are both playing point guard. R.J. Barrett, Bradley Beal, shooting guard. Marcus Morris and Davis Bertans at small forward. Julius Randle and Rui Hachimura at power forward. Mitchell Robinson, two young centers facing off at the center spot. For the Knicks, on the injury report, you got Dennis Smith Jr. with a lower back strain, Reggie Bullock with a neck, Damian Dotson with a right shoulder, Kadeem Allen has a strained right foot, and Amir Hinton's out due to personal issues. For the Washington Wizards, Isaac Bonga's got left knee soreness. John Wall is rehabbing his Achilles. Troy Brown has a left calf strain. Ian Mahinmi, he has a right Achilles strain. Isaiah Thomas and C.J. Miles are both nursing thumb injuries. So that's the reason why you see the lineups that you see Now, storylines to watch. The battle for minutes is beginning tonight. Player rotations. We'll be looking to see what those rotations look like, and if David Fizdale has a handle on any of those rotations, which he probably won't, but that's okay. Development of a defensive culture, the beginnings of an offensive system, player development, and the pro debut of R.J. Barrett, and shall we add in there Ignaz Brazdeikis. So that's what we'll be looking forward to tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And look for me to jump on live tonight. I will be on live during the game. And I do a little pregame talking about probably some of the same stuff again. But, I'll show you some shots from the floor and all that good stuff. And then, of course, we'll get into the game and we'll talk about the game while it's on, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Now, I appreciate you guys being on with me throughout the day, well, today. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. Happens like that sometimes when it's live. All right. I'm going to ask you, though, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. If you're on Sportscaster, follow me. If you haven't followed me, follow me right now on Sportscaster. On Twitter, if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Facebook, Instagram. Take this, share it out to everyone because we got all day. We got a few hours, just about 3 hours until the game starts. So there's a lot of people that can chime into this conversation and leave it in the comment section, folks. All right? Listen, I'm out. Enjoy the game tonight. Make sure you catch me live. Probably about 6:30 is when I'll go on. I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
That's the deal.